Hello, future chemists. Welcome to an exciting journey into the heart of chemical bonding. Today, we are diving deep into resonance, a fascinating concept that explains why some molecules behave in unexpected ways. From understanding basic electron movement to tackling advanced G-level problems, we'll explore this topic across 4 engaging levels. Get ready to unlock the secrets of molecular stability and reactivity. Let's start simple. What exactly is resonance, and why do we need it to describe molecules? Imagine a molecule that can't be fully described by just one Lewis structure. That's where resonance comes in. It's the concept of electron delocalization, meaning electrons aren't stuck in one place. Instead, they're spread out over multiple atoms. We draw hypothetical resonance structures or canonical forms to represent these different electron arrangements, but the real molecule is a resonance hybrid, a blend of all these forms. The double-headed arrow is our special symbol for this. A great example is the carbonate ion, where the double bond isn't fixed on one oxygen but shared among all three. It's crucial to remember that in resonance, only electrons move, not the atoms themselves. Think of it like blurring a photo. The hybrid is the sharp, stable reality, while the individual structures are just different exposures. The resonance hybrid is always more stable and has lower energy than any of its hypothetical contributing structures. This extra stability is called resonance energy. Also, resonance leads to averaged bond lengths, meaning bonds aren't purely single or double, but somewhere in between. It's not an equilibrium, but a single, permanent state. Time to test your understanding of the basics. Take a moment to answer these 3 questions. Which molecule shows resonance? Can you draw the nitrate ion's resonance structures? And what does that double-headed arrow really mean? Pause the video, try them out, and then we'll move on. Ready to dive a bit deeper? Now we'll explore the specific conditions required for resonance and the rules for drawing these structures correctly. For resonance to occur, 2 main conditions must be met: conjugation, meaning alternating single and multiple bonds or a lone pair next to a pi bond, and planarity, ensuring p orbitals can overlap. When drawing resonance structures, remember that only electrons move, never the atoms. The total number of valence electrons must stay constant, and while formal charges can change, their sum must remain the same. And generally, structures where all atoms have a complete octet are more favorable. Not all resonance structures are equally important. We can rank their stability. Structures with more covalent bonds are usually more stable. Minimizing charge separation also increases stability. If charges are present, a negative charge is better on a more electronegative atom, and a positive charge on a less electronegative one. Structures where all atoms achieve a complete octet are highly preferred. And if multiple equivalent resonance structures exist, like in benzene, the molecule gains significant stability. Resonance has a profound impact on molecular properties. It averages bond lengths, making them intermediate between single and double bonds, as seen in benzene. It significantly increases molecular stability by delocalizing electrons, lowering the overall energy. This stability, in turn, influences a molecule's reactivity, directing where reactions occur. Resonance also affects dipole moments and is crucial in explaining the enhanced acidity or basicity of many organic compounds, such as the acidity of carboxylic acids. Now, let's put your understanding of resonance rules and stability to the test. These 5 questions will challenge you to identify conjugation, draw and rank structures, and explain property differences. Work through them carefully before proceeding. Excellent work! Now, let's tackle the more advanced aspects, including quantifying resonance and its relation to aromaticity, a key concept for G. Resonance energy isn't just a qualitative concept, it can be quantified. It's defined as the energy difference between the actual resonance hybrid and the most stable hypothetical canonical form. We often determine it experimentally by comparing heats of hydrogenation or combustion. For example, benzene's actual heat of hydrogenation is much less exothermic than what's predicted for a hypothetical Kekulé structure, indicating substantial resonance stabilization. Factors like the number of equivalent structures and the extent of delocalization directly influence this energy. Higher resonance energy means greater stability. It's important to distinguish between the inductive effect and the resonance effect. The inductive effect involves the permanent, but localized, displacement of sigma electrons due to electronegativity, diminishing quickly with distance. The resonance effect, or mesomeric effect, involves the delocalization of pi electrons or lone pairs through conjugation, affecting the entire conjugated system. Resonance is generally much stronger when present. Both effects can operate simultaneously, sometimes reinforcing each other, other times opposing, leading to complex electronic environments in molecules. Resonance is fundamental to understanding aromaticity, a special kind of stability found in cyclic, planar, fully conjugated systems that obey Huckel's rule, meaning they have 4n plus 2 pi electrons. This extensive delocalization of pi electrons over the entire ring is what makes aromatic compounds exceptionally stable. In contrast, systems with 4n pi electrons are anti-aromatic and highly unstable, while non-aromatic compounds simply lack planarity or complete conjugation. Benzene, with 6 pi electrons, is the classic example of an aromatic compound, deriving immense stability from its resonance. You're doing great. These 7 questions will challenge your ability to apply resonance concepts to explain aromaticity, calculate resonance energy, compare acidities, and understand directing effects in reactions. Take your time, analyze each problem, and try to connect it back to the principles we've discussed. Congratulations on making it this far. Now, let's push the boundaries even further, exploring advanced resonance concepts and common pitfalls that appear in competitive exams like JEE. Let's delve into cross-conjugation. This occurs when a conjugated group is linked to 2 or more pi systems, but these pi systems are not conjugated with each other directly. Think of a central point branching out to separate conjugated pathways. This often leads to reduced overall electron delocalization and lower resonance energy compared to a linearly conjugated system. Examples include molecules like benzophenone or piquinine, where the central carbonyl group is conjugated with 2 separate benzene rings. Understanding this helps explain subtle differences in molecular stability and reactivity. A crucial concept for competitive exams is steric inhibition of resonance, or SIR. This happens when bulky groups near a conjugated system physically prevent the molecule from adopting the planar geometry necessary for effective p-orbital overlap. When planarity is lost, resonance is significantly reduced or even completely inhibited. This can have dramatic effects, like decreasing resonance energy, altering bond lengths, and profoundly changing a molecule's reactivity, acidity, or basicity. For example, orthosubstituted anilines often show reduced basicity due to SIR, as the bulky groups twist the amino group out of conjugation with the ring. Resonance is not just a theoretical concept, it's a driving force in many chemical reactions. It plays a vital role in stabilizing reaction intermediates like carbocations, carbanions, and free radicals by spreading out their charge or unpaired electron. This stabilization directly impacts reaction rates and product formation. In electrophilic aromatic substitution, resonance dictates when new substituents attach to an aromatic ring, influencing whether a group is ortho, para, or meta-directing. Similarly, in nucleophilic acyl substitution, resonance within carbonyl compounds and their tetrahedral intermediates is key to understanding the mechanism. Beyond the core concepts, be aware of advanced topics and common JEE traps. Betaine resonance structures involve separated opposite charges, often seen in ylides. Remember the distinction between true resonance and hyperconjugation, which involves sigma pi overlap. Always identify major and minor contributing structures based on stability rules. Be careful not to confuse tautomerism, which involves atom movement, with resonance, which only involves electron movement. The questions often test your ability to spot cross-conjugation or identify non-contributing structures that look plausible but violate resonance rules. Alright, it's time for the ultimate challenge. These first 5 questions are designed to test your mastery of advanced resonance concepts. You'll need to apply principles of steric inhibition, cross-conjugation, carbocation stability, and enolate resonance. Think critically, draw structures carefully, and justify your answers thoroughly. Take your time to solve these before moving on. Here are the final 5 questions to solidify your understanding of resonance for G. These cover common misconceptions, comparisons of basicity, identifying major contributors, understanding reaction-directing effects, and applying Huckel's rule. This set will ensure you're well prepared for any resonance-related question. Give it your best shot. You've successfully navigated the complex world of resonance. From basic definitions to advanced G concepts, you've built a strong foundation. Remember, practice is key to mastering these topics. For more such comprehensive educational content, detailed solutions, and personalized learning paths, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for continuous learning updates. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep excelling.